Hey, what's going on, guys? The Horror Man back ranking all 6 movies in the Scream franchise. Based on the first 5 rounds of Franchise Frenzy so far, Scream will likely be one of my top franchises of all. I predicted that going in. I knew out of all of the horror franchises, Scream would be one of my favorites. As of right now, it appears Scream will also be one of Jason's top franchises. But with still a long way to go in Franchise Frenzy, we decided to rank the Scream movies now. Before I get into it, I want to let everyone know I decided to stick with DVDs in this video. I'm saying that because typically I like to show various formats on physical media. And still, I've had people ask me in the past why I only show DVDs, which is clearly not the case at all. I guess they haven't watched enough of my videos to know that, but that's fine. As for the Scream franchise, I own all of these films on DVD and Blu-ray, and the first 3 on VHS. And because I'm crazy, multiple editions of each. But in this video, I'll be showing DVDs across the board. As with all of my other rankings, I will start with my least favorite Scream movie and work my way to my favorite. But keep in mind, I love all of them. This ranking is as close as it comes. The reasons for why each is ranked where it is are minuscule. It's such a strong franchise that even my last place is close to my first place. Scream is just that good. Remember though, I base my rankings off of criteria such as nostalgia, rewatchability, and overall enjoyment. This is just my personal opinion, and you don't have to agree. Jason will be ranking the Scream movies as well, so please be sure to check out his video, because it's likely his ranking will be different from mine. So, here we go. This is Scream Ranked. In last place, which, based on other rankings I've seen, is an unpopular opinion, I have Scream 2. Like I said, I love all 6 of the Scream films, but something has to be last. Many people consider Scream 2 to be one of the greatest horror sequels ever made, and I agree. This series is just that strong. Even with that being said, I love the opening, I love the cast, I love the college setting, I love the soundtrack. Scream 2 maybe has the most surprising reveal with Mrs. Loomis. I also think the Gale Weathers chase scene is one of the greatest in horror history. Yet, somehow, some way, Scream 2 is in last place for me in my Scream ranking. Scream, I believe, is the only horror franchise in which I've seen every film in theaters. I remember seeing this one on opening night and being so sad when Randy was killed, and then being even sadder when I thought Dewey was killed. But hey, like Randy predicted, this sequel raised the stakes. Overall, it's an amazing slasher sequel, but still, it's last. Scream 4 is up next, in 5th place. This is the Scream movie that has bounced around the most in my ranking. At one time, it was my 2nd or 3rd favorite in the series, and at another time, it was my least favorite. Something about this one for me is that I like it more and more every time I watch it. It's sad that this was the last film Wes Craven ever made, but at least it ended on a strong note. I love how Scream 4 is a shriequel or screamake. I still feel Olivia's death is the most brutal in the entire franchise. Another unpopular opinion I have is that Charlie is one of the greatest ghost faces of all. Not the greatest, but one of them. I know a lot of people feel differently, but I thought he was awesome. I mean, the majority of the kill count comes from him. Yes, Jill was the more shocking reveal of the two, but Charlie was the muscle. I love the false openings in Scream 4, with all of the recognizable faces. The Stabathon sequence is one of my favorites in the franchise. And Scream 4 introduced us to one of my personal favorite characters in the series, Kirby. I guess what it came down to for me is if I had to decide which of the two to watch between Scream 2 and Scream 4, I'd probably watch Scream 4, which is why I have it at number 5. At number 4, and this was really tough and really close, I have Scream 2022, or Scream 5. I will say, when it comes to rewatchability, Scream 5 is one of the most rewatchable for me. I can't tell you how many times I've seen this one. Don't get me wrong, I've watched all 6 of them more times than I can count. But there's something about Scream 5 that is so rewatchable for me. This nearly took 3rd place for that alone. I love the introduction of the new cast of characters. Scream 2022, in my opinion, is one of the best requels in horror. Amber is one of my favorite ghost faces of all, probably 2nd or 3rd place. 2nd. Most likely, 2nd favorite. We get not 1, but 2 legacy character deaths in this one, including the brutal death of Dewey. And honestly, what impresses me the most about Scream 5 is even after all those years, they were able to make a requel so true to the original. It feels like Scream after all that time, and even with a brand new cast. Plus, just a bonus, Scream 2022 features my favorite end credits. The song, the freeze frame of the characters, I love it. Man, I really wish I could rank this one higher. But for now, Scream 5 is in 4th place in my Scream ranking. In 3rd place is the 3rd Scream, Scream 3. This movie gets a lot of flack, but it was my favorite Scream sequel for a very long time. Roman is my favorite Ghostface in the Scream franchise, at least the movies. I know a lot of people think it's silly, but I love the Scooby-Doo feel of this one. The Hollywood setting is awesome. I love the second killer aspect, because yes, there is in fact a second killer in Scream 3. Just because you didn't realize it doesn't mean it's not true. Jason and I have covered this before though. Cotton Wary being the opening kill in Scream 3 was sad but surprising. Roman's reveal at the end is probably my favorite reveal in the entire franchise. It's the fact that Sidney had no idea who he is or why he did what he did. Until the explanation, of course. Speaking of which, have you ever noticed that the Scream movies are basically American gialli? Seriously, think about it. Jason and I gave Scream 3 a positive spin pretty early on in that series, and for good reason. A lot of people hate this one. I personally love it, and I know Jason does as well. And I'm pretty sure I know where this will end up in his ranking. This is my ranking, though, and I have Scream 3 at number 3. In 2nd place is the most recent Scream sequel, Scream 6. This movie makes some bold choices, and man, do I love it for that. From the opening Ghostface reveal and Ghostface kill, to the aspect of Ghostface masks being left at each crime scene, to the new setting of New York City, and the absolute brutality of just about every kill. I love everything about Scream 6. We get the return of Kirby in this one. There's the twist of having not 3, not 4, but technically 5 ghost faces in Scream 6. Yes, I'm including Greg. He was Jason's partner. Just because he failed doesn't mean he wasn't a ghost face. But for me, it really is the locations that keep me coming back to this one. The bodega, the subway, and especially the shrine. And, oh yeah, the whole thing is set around Halloween. I'm glad we now know Scream 6 will not be the final film in the franchise, but if it was, well, it would have ended on a high note. I'm so excited for Scream 7, though. But for now, Scream 6 is my second favorite movie in the Scream franchise. Which obviously means my number 1 is, well, number 1. The original Scream. Seeing Scream on opening night back in 1996 is one of my all-time favorite theater experiences. The cinema was packed, and people were so into the movie. It truly was an experience, and I was glued to the screen. I had my movie snack in one hand and never even opened it because I was so enthralled in what was happening. I'm not exaggerating. I took the candy home with me, unopened. Scream has since established itself among fandom as a classic horror film. It's up there with films like Halloween, Friday the 13th, and Wes Craven's other horror classic, A Nightmare on Elm Street. Out of all of them, though, Scream, for me, has the greatest opening scene in horror history. People did not know what to make of it, myself included, when Drew Barrymore's character was killed in the first 15 minutes. Where would it go from here? No one was safe. Then there's, of course, the whodunit aspect with all of the red herrings. It may not have been the first, but Scream is arguably the best meta-horror movie ever made. And wholeheartedly, Scream is probably my second favorite horror movie overall. Ever. Period. Often when I'm watching it, I even think it could be number 1. In this particular ranking, it definitely is. Scream is my number 1 favorite movie in the Scream franchise. So there you have it, guys. My ranking of all 6 movies in the Scream franchise. What do you think? And how would you rank these films? Comment below and let me know. As always, please be sure to check out Jason's video to see how he has Scream ranked. Which franchise will we rank next? Check back soon to find out. Until then, remember, physical media matters. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that thumbs up and be kind. Subscribe.